Hi folks. Um, yeah, I'm a bit nervous about uploading this video. I think I'm going to get some hate on it, and that's okay. You're allowed your opinion. I watched Trisha's video, speaking up about Colleen. I think we all have at this point. And I just wanted to go through it with you guys in the style that I seem to have been uploading my videos, where we sort of break it down as she explains it. Just because there were a few things that didn't sit well with me. And although I believe that she does need support because it's a horrible thing that's happened, it doesn't automatically nullify what she's done. And I think that's an important thing to remember. So if you bear with me, we'll go through her video and I'll just dip in as I have done in my previous reaction videos. Yeah, let's get into it.
So this is a video that I really did not want to make, and I feel like the past few years I've really taken a step back from having to comment on everything, having to respond to everything said about me on the internet, because at the end of the day it just gets really exhausting.
Yeah, I'd somewhat agree with that. I think, I think for people like me who are quite critical of her, we see the snide comments and the little digs and things in like TikToks and, referring to people as haters and haters ruin this for me, and get frustrated that she doesn't take responsibility because she's the one who ruined a lot of things for herself, and that's just how it is. But I will give her credit where it's due in that there's been no frantic screaming, crying TikTok montages. From what I can see, she hasn't gone on to podcasts and talked about other people. She has gone on to podcasts and said a few interesting things, which I am going to cover a bit later on in this video. But yeah, I'd give her that. She's not reacting in the way that we'd be like, yeah, okay, Trisha, and that we'd expect from her. So yeah, I'd say she's certainly mellowed at the very least.
And then, of course, being in other people's business, even if I have strong opinions about it, I really decided years ago that it wasn't good for my mental health. I have a mental illness, I have a personality disorder, which is hard to regulate my emotions. I get triggered very easily. So I've learned to deal with triggers the past few years, and I feel like I've done a very good job managing and regulating emotional stability.
I don't think anyone would say that she doesn't have some sort of mental illness, whatever that may be. I lean personally, just from how she's presented herself, to more personality disorder, anger issue type. But that, again, I'm not a professional, I'm just a mentally ill person myself, and, that's my opinion. So, yeah, behind closed doors, we don't know. Obviously, there's been a lot of domestic abuse in her past and things like that, and we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But again, yeah, I would agree. She's been a lot better at, even if she has been triggered in private, putting her phone down and taking a breath and being like, okay, let's not just immediately, do this. So yeah, I'd agree to that as well.
And on top, aside from all that, just, being known as the person who's just always in drama and can't keep friendships, it's not a good look.
I do believe that she's very upset about that. I think she's a very lonely person. I think that she finds it difficult to keep friendships. Again, which is sort of my reasoning for her personality disorder being anger-based and sort of a lack of regulation. I myself have bipolar, so I don't get angry, I get sad, and I can go from very cheerful and very happy to wanting to hide in my bed as a bed burrito. And it's difficult when you have a regulatory disorder, and I can't imagine what it's like if your impulse is anger, which I think it's been fairly well documented that hers is. So friends don't really stick around for that. And also when you're in the moment of having an episode or a low or a high or whatever, you are that person in entirety. So when I'm depressed and I'm in my bed burrito, I cannot imagine leaving the house. I can't imagine getting up and moving. It's not like a this will pass feeling. I am that person 100%. So trying to put myself in her position, when she's angry, she is 100% that anger, that level, which doesn't excuse her behaviour, but she said in several clips that she, wishes she could stop, that she just doesn't understand why she can't stop. So I think when she calms down and she's no longer in that angry state, she's then the person who's crying about losing her friends because she doesn't understand why they don't understand. Because to her, it's very real. This is all just my hypothesis, but from watching her stuff and hearing her talk, this is what I think. But I think there's no doubt about it. She's very lonely and gets very upset about not having stable friends or stable relationship or having anyone. I think she relies very heavily on her mother and her sister. And I don't think she wants to. I think she actually wants to sort of broaden her horizon. So it's a great shame this has happened.
Which is commonly referred to as drama, but I feel like this is beyond drama. I'm putting my own hurt feelings aside, and my feelings are very hurt. I've had like a sick to my stomach feeling for a while now, and today especially. Me and Colleen started a podcast this year, 3 episodes. We were always friendly before. I think it shocked a lot of people because like, oh, I didn't know they were close friends like that. And the thing is we weren't close friends. We were friends. I considered us to be friendly. When I had my daughter, she reached out and I thought, oh, it's great to have mom friends and, friends, who have kids. So I thought this podcast would be great because we always got along really great when we would see each other. We've been doing videos together on and off, like maybe once a year since 2018.
Yeah, I mean, this is just really sad, to be honest. Colleen is a mean girl. I don't think anyone would deny that. She is a mean girl. Let's have a look at some clips from that video that Trisha's talking about.
I'm about to go bake some cookies with Colleen Ballinger. I'm so excited. I have really started following Colleen, like, really, is this focus? Ella. In the past couple of months since her show came out because I was a huge fan of the show, and then, like I said, I've always loved her. Like, she's always been so nice to me at events, but like I said, I started like following her vlogs, and then I realized she watches me, and then we've always tweeted back and forth, and now we're hanging out, and I'm really super excited. Like, I usually get nervous when I meet someone new, especially like a YouTuber or a girlfriend, because you guys know, like, I'm on this quest to have like girlfriends in my life. Like, I need more girlfriends. So I usually get really nervous, but for some reason I'm not at all. Like, I just feel like if she watches my videos, she knows my gig. I watch her videos, I know her gig. She seems super sweet, cool, and she is a theater chick like myself, even though like I never was the lead. She would be like Annie, and I'd be like orphan number 32 and It's a Hard Knock Life. That's exactly how it would have been.
So we know why this video was uploaded. I'm sure you've been following the Colleen Ballinger drama, and it's all come out that Colleen was very horrible about Trisha behind the scenes and watched her adult content and had viewing parties to make fun of her. She used to send it to her friends, mocking Trisha, and was just very mean and nasty behind her back. And I think it's very telling what Trisha said in this clip. She said, I obviously watch her vlog channel, and I recently found out she watches my stuff too. And it's so sinister looking back on it, because Colleen didn't necessarily mean just her YouTube stuff. She had privately subscribed to her Patreon. So to see Trisha's really excited to go and meet her and sort of say, oh, well, I'm just found out she watches my stuff. It's so horrible looking back, knowing the background of it. And I think it's even more upsetting that Trisha's saying, I don't have any girlfriends, and she's a theatre kid, and she probably thought this was going to be a huge friendship with someone who had a passion similar to hers. And yeah, I mean, I will not back down on all of Trisha's lies and nastiness, but it's a horrible thing to do to another human being. It really is. And it's just nasty.
Yeah, it's going, oh, and I have this really cool, look, I'll show you guys. I'm gonna bring this. Cause Colleen plays the ukulele, so maybe I'll like, I don't know, learn how to play the ukulele or something, I don't know. Or just have it in my pink G-Wing, because I think it's kind of bougie, I don't even know. So, yeah.
I left this in just to demonstrate the effort that Trisha was going to. I know she had lots of stuff blinged, and she still does, but it takes time. So when this, meeting was arranged, she took the time to order a blinged ukulele, knowing that Colleen plays the ukulele. We all now know that Colleen plays the ukulele if we weren't sure before. So I just wanted to leave it in as a demonstration of this wasn't just a YouTube collab or a bit of money for Trisha. I think she genuinely was excited to meet a new friend.
You guys, I made it to Colleen.
Barely, I ruined your life.
Yeah.
I gave her the wrong address and she thought I was pranking her.
Yeah, go watch Colleen's vlog because we talked about it. But oh my gosh, you guys, we've been making cookies.
Yeah.
And we've been having just like, oh my god, literally.
You're like literally not even filming me.
Wait, I know. Jane always says that too.
Oh yeah, because heaven forbid you not be in shot. You heard that right. Colleen gave her the wrong address. Yeah, that is a thing that she did. They talk about it a bit later. Let's jump to that.
This is Jonathan, you guys know from Colleen's vlog, and Corey.
Jonathan, that's a name that I've heard recently. Corey has his own rap sheet of bollocks in this, but Jonathan... Oh, I know. That's right, you used to attend the viewing parties that Colleen held to embarrass Trisha. And in fact, here you are, posing with a picture of Trisha's pornography. So bizarre that you could do this, make fun of this person, and then just be jolly on her vlog. Anyway, back to this room of mean girls sending Trisha to the wrong house.
Went to the wrong house and she gave me the wrong address, and I thought, oh my god, Colleen's like a mean girl. Like she's being
That's so
like her and Corey are like pranking me. That they're like, oh, we're gonna
now
really
you've
get
given
this
us the
bitch.
idea, we're totally doing that. You're the next bitch who comes over.
Like, I know, I'm like, oh my god. And I went up to that person's house and I was like, is Colleen here? They're like, no. And then I went back to my car and Colleen texted me, but like later after I asked her where to park, and I was
Wait,
like,
but she said, where do I park? I was like, just by the car. So I went outside with my cat, like waiting out my front door, like waiting for Trish, so excited. Like that I had a new friend coming over, like a little girl ready for a slumber party, had all my cookie decorations ready, like laid out like a weirdo. And I was
Which
so
one
excited.
of you is sadder in this?
we're both extremely sad
I was
girls.
like, I need a new friend.
We both said that too. We're both like, oh my god, I'm I'm really excited to have a friend and like a girlfriend. And she goes, me too. And I was just like, oh my god, this is everything.
I know, but yeah, it was fun though. I just feel bad that I made you go to the wrong house.
Whatever, that's gonna be the title. Colleen's a mean girl. Like
There is no way that Colleen went out and stood there with her cat and waited for Trisha. She knew she gave her the wrong address. How do you accidentally give someone the wrong address to your home? It's just absolute nonsense. And even Trisha wasn't convinced, even in the vlog. She said, I'm going to title this, Colleen's a mean girl. And another point in the vlog that I didn't include is that Trisha said, well, I already thought it was a bit strange that you were asking to meet up at Gone 5. So she not only made her sit in rush hour traffic, she then sent her to the wrong house and humiliated her. And there's no way that those gaggle of mean girls did it by accident. I'm sorry, you just can't convince me otherwise. You can't. And that whole thing of, oh, I was so excited. And I also feel like Colleen's mocking her by saying, I've made a new friend. Because I don't think that Trisha would have hidden her excitement. I think she would have been openly excited to make a new friend. So I just get this image of the three of them sat round that kitchen table being like, oh, new friend. Yeah, let's send her to the wrong address. 100%. 110%. I just think it's such a nasty, nasty thing to do to someone.
you guys, I'm like proof that fangirls can become friends with their favorite YouTubers. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like I was like literally so excited. And then Jessica texted Colleen while I was here, and I'm like kind of fangirl. She gets Trisha over there. I was like, oh my god. I'm like invite her over.
No, I watch all your videos. I'm a fangirl.
Oh, I was I was like, really? We made cookies. We've had like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Just,
we've been gossiping and talking
Gossiping.
and hanging out. You're so sweet.
No, I really think you.
This is the last clip I'm going to include of the vlog. I just wanted to demonstrate again how much this meant to Trisha. And I think Colleen's being very disingenuous. I think she's being very snidey, you know, saying things like, oh, you're so sweet. But she also said two things that were quite important, obviously, again, looking back, knowing what we know now. One, she said, I watch all your videos, and sort of smirked at Trisha. And it was a very clear smirk at Trisha. And it's basically I know something you don't know. Because she would have obviously been thinking about Trisha's Patreon and knowing that would probably embarrass her. You know, certainly in the context of which she watched it. The other thing I think is important to mention is that she said, and we've been gossiping, which backs up the clip of Shane Dawson.
Colleen is the best because she needs 10 of these fans. She is the most hateful, shadiest. I love her. Like, whenever we hang out, literally the first words out of her mouth are, okay, like, what do you got? Who do you hate? Who's next? Like, just going in on everybody. I love it.
Oh,
you gotta
fun.
get her out here.
Oh, I would love to.
It's rough.
Please throw in a good word for us.
Yes. That's the thing is a lot of I guess, comedians in general, like, a lot of the comedy comes from hate, self-hatred. And when you hate yourself, you hate everybody around you. So
Right.
I've got a little better at it, but no, hanging out with her, man.
She loves to throw some zingers,
Loves
huh?
it. Loves it. And she's so good at being nice to, like, she'll do collabs with every YouTuber, and they think, like, I'm like Colleen's best friend, and then we get together. I do the same thing, but then we get together. Oh, man.
No,
They only knew.
tonight.
Oh.
Obviously, a lot of things have come out in the private messages. You can see how much she digs for information. So I thought that was worth noting. So she invited Trisha over, apropos of nothing. Even Trisha said at the beginning of the vlog, I found out she watches my stuff and she just invited me over. So I wouldn't be surprised if she invited over just to bully her or just to make fun of her later. And, you know, we know that behind the scenes she was being absolutely vile about her, which just makes it so sad to see her so excited and giddy.
So I just thought, well, this is a good podcast to get to know each other. It's a good, little thing for me to do because I haven't really done anything for a couple of years and I really enjoy being creative and producing stuff. And it was kind of fun to do costumes and stuff.
That was a sad little flash across her face when she said it was nice doing costumes, wasn't it? Yeah, I think she misses Ethan. I think she misses the structure as well. She, she's deleted a lot of it, but as soon as she left for Enemies, she did a lot of podcast structured work. Like she did her Enemies podcast, My Chemical Imbalance, what else was there? She did that one in her bedroom where it was echoey and they really took the mick out of it on H3 and that sort of stopped, and then she got a better set in the basement. I think she really liked the format of a podcast, and I think that's why she goes on so many. But I think she enjoyed the format, and I think quite an obvious sign of this is how they both reacted when they filmed the first episode. I know lots of people online made fun of it, but, Trisha was very excited and she was like, this is a new project and my hubby's done this, that and the other, and she was clearly very excited, whereas Colleen was a little bit more pragmatic about it and was like, well, it's just an idea, we filmed it in her basement, it's not like it's in a third party, there's no third party picking it up, and I think it showed their difference of opinion, and Trisha was just so desperate to make this work.
I wasn't aware of these most recent things that are coming out.
This is where it starts to get a bit sticky, because you did know, you did have an idea. Yes, there's been a lot more finite details that have come out recently, but Adam McIntyre originally released his video in 2020. Now his video is quite long and complex and has lots of receipts in it, but just to try and condense it as best I can, he basically showed receipts that he and Colleen had a private behind-the-scenes relationship and that she had hired him to do some work for the Miranda Sings page and hadn't paid him. She had also sent him a bra and knicker set in the post as a sort of joke. So at the very least, Trisha knew that Colleen had spoken to this minor, as Adam was only, I think he was 18 when he originally uploaded in 2020. So he was only an 18-year-old then. So you know, he was a minor. I think it spanned from 13 to 18, if I remember correctly. So you knew that. You also knew that she'd sent him underwear, and you also knew that there had been this contact that had led to unpaid work. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, maybe Trisha didn't know. Firstly, in 2020, Trisha was chronically online. She was absolutely bored shitless during the pandemic, and that was very apparent by how she and Ethan talked on Frenemies. They were constantly just talking about other people's drama and other people's mess. Secondly, she and Ethan actually quoted Adam McIntyre on the Frenemies podcast and made a point of saying how good his work was and that he was a good source for the sort of gossip that they were talking about. Adam's actually come forward and said that when they shouted him out, he did say, because they both started following him on social media, he did say that he tried to reach out to both of them and promote his video on Colleen and said, look, you know, this is someone you need to look at, this is someone you need to deep dive in. And I think it's very characteristic of how Trisha has been in the past, that she won't turn her back on her friends that are useful to her at that time. And what I mean by that is friends are obviously so important to Trisha, understandably, that she won't go against them. There's also receipts, which I'm not going to include in this video because it slightly goes down another rabbit hole, where after Colleen's divorce, she went for her ex-husband, and Adam McIntyre actually pointed out that that was a calculated move on Colleen's part, essentially winding up Trisha and setting her free on the internet to do her dirty work of having a moan. I think this behaviour was also very apparent during the Shane Dawson cancellation. Trisha's always up in, you know, everybody's business and everybody's gossip, but apparently she didn't know any of the videos that were coming out about Shane, and she had nothing to say about it, and he was going to be fine. And I think it's just purely because she was his friend. I think she just wanted to be supportive of her friend. That actually comes up slightly later in this video. So I think she willfully ignored a lot of it purely because she didn't want to lose a friend. And I truly believe Adam when he said that he did try and promote cancelling Colleen while they were on the subject of the vlog squad and all these other people who behaved badly. And it wouldn't surprise me if Trisha had said to Ethan, no, you know, we're not going to do that. And at that time, obviously, they were very close and Ethan would have backed down. So to say that you simply didn't know, I mean, appreciate you didn't know the details of the new evidence that have come out, but you weren't totally in the dark of Colleen's behaviour. You did understand some of it, and people were trying to talk to you and tell you there was more to the story, and you just put your fingers in your ears. So I'm afraid, no, you don't come off cleanly in this situation.
Everyone knows I have a very, very, very firm stance on talking to anyone underage, platonic or not. I've always been very, very firm with this, that I think it's inappropriate.
But you knew she was talking to Adam and he was underage. And it was, okay, yeah, it was platonic, but you did know that. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter being like, yeah, Trisha did, Trisha's always been very outspoken. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. Think in my memory and looking at her statements, the only time she really took a hard stance was when Jason Nash dumped her. And, well, I mean, to be fair, she wasn't happy about it when they were together, but she became publicly outspoken about it when they broke up. And it goes to something I've mentioned several times in my videos, that she told Jason Nash and David Dobrik that if Jason dumped her, she would destroy the vlog squad. You know, she had all these details, and that she was going to destroy them. Now, Brandon Calvillo, who was a very good friend of Jason Nash, he was at the time, I don't know if he is now, started dating his still current girlfriend, she's now in her mid-20s, when she was 17. They've tried several times to debunk this, and it's just impossible. The dates don't match up. She was 17. Tough. That's illegal in the state of California. It's not illegal in other states. It's not illegal here in the UK, but it is illegal in the state of California. And when Jason Nash broke up with Trisha, that was something she really harped on about. That was in the expose video. That was in several pieces that she was just absolutely promoting.
There's people dating Brandon in their friend group was dating a high schooler last year. She was 17 years old. And when I would talk about this with, like, David, he would literally be like, oh, see, it's a big deal. He's 24, like, she's 17, like, you know, just because it's the law, like, a year, like, 6 months, in 6 months she'll be 18. I'm like, it's disgusting.
The last word I accidentally cut off there was disgusting. So she obviously had a problem while they were together, but she really promoted this and spoke out about it after the breakup, which suggests to me it just added to her Rolodex of information against people. She also continued talking about this because her anger with the Vlog Squad never abated, as they truly did cut her out. So I think she was hoping that they would, you know, respond to her, but they really did just cut her out. Something that Trisha's very good at doing is riding a hate wave. So she took the opportunity of the Jeff Wittick situation and the Seth situation and the Big Nick situation to really go at anybody she had ammunition against in the Vlog Squad. Not even because she had a problem with them, but because she was angry with David and Jason. So, of course, the Brandon Calvillo business came back up. And she made huge statements, just really broad, sweeping statements, and actually called him a pedophile.
I called their friend, a really good friend of theirs, in their vlog out. Like, he was dating a minor, and he was in the vlogs, and David asked about their sex life in the vlogs when she was 17, and like I called that out, and I think that was like the big issue because
he didn't want to rock the boat.
I'm sure, but whatever.
Okay, well,
I don't regret it.
I'm interested.
Don't date minors. How about that? It's pretty easy. If you're 24, you don't need to date 17-year-olds.
It's like so easy.
So easy.
Just don't date little girls. I mean, really, it is so easy.
It's very simple.
So anyway, let's go through, first of all, before we get into
pedophiles by putting them in the thing. He's an actual like pedophile, and we're actually like, and he's like 24.
Having sex with a 17-year-old isn't pedophilia.
It's pedophilia for sure.
It's
with a minor for sure was. That's an actual pedophile. Like, it's a child. 17-year-old is a child.
So. Okay, whatever. I don't need to debate that, but it's illegal.
It's a pedophile.
Well, pedophile is someone that has sex with kids.
She's a child. That's a child.
But you don't magically become not a child when you turn from when the clock ticks midnight.
That actually is like how it works. Yeah. Like, you also have no business being with like an 18-year-old, but like 17 is an actual child. It's actually legal. Like, you actually should go to jail.
But, okay, well, I'm not here to debate that. But some states it's 16.
But it's not that in California.
I know it's illegal.
I apologise if I offend any of you, but I'm in agreement with Ethan. I don't think it's the same thing. I think there is a huge difference between having sex with a 17-year-old versus a 7-year-old. And I think Trisha is using very divisive language just to make it absolutely shocking. Yes, it's illegal, and yes, she's not of age, and those age limitations are there for a reason. But that doesn't mean, as Ethan said, that at the stroke of midnight it suddenly stops being pedophilia. I mean, I just think that's such a outrageous way of putting it. He shouldn't have dated her in that state. It's illegal. Yeah, that's fine. We're not arguing about that. But it's not the same thing, in my opinion. But I think her being outspoken about Brandon, and later on people like Keemstar when he dated a 20-year-old, I think her being outspoken about these people have made the public think, oh yeah, no, Trisha is outspoken about it. We've heard her talk about that before. And as I say, I've seen a lot of that on Twitter of, oh, that's fair. No, Trisha has been very... But you're missing the point. She's been outspoken with people she doesn't like and people she has a grudge with.
I've been known to talk about many occasions where someone is just 17 years old and I don't feel comfortable with them, you know, being around them, hanging out with them. I remember one time there was a very popular YouTuber who was 17 and another YouTuber I was friends with wanted to bring her to my apartment. I said, absolutely not. I'm like, she has to just stay in the car.
I have no idea who this YouTuber was and who the 17-year-old YouTuber it was that, you know, attempted to come into Trisha's home. I don't know. But all of this is just not true. And I think, as I said in the previous segment, that it has got to do highly with people she doesn't like. She ignored the Colleen stuff when Adam sent her the proof. She came out about Daniel Calvillo after Jason dumped her, even though apparently she felt uncomfortable while they were dating. She still didn't say anything. She brought up Keemstar's girlfriend being 20 while she was in the middle of the back and forth with herself and Gabby Hanna. I think it has more to do with yes, she may have a problem with it in private, but she's only going to be outspoken about it as ammunition because she dislikes this person. And we're going to look at a couple of clips now that I think demonstrate that. While she was friends with Shane, she did a collaboration between himself and Travi Moran, where they both attended Shane's house. I know it's Shane's house because you can recognise the wallpaper. And this is how that went.
Everyone, ooh, what, are we doing sexy faces?
I just have
Thumbnail.
I have to compete with that. It's cracking. My skin is cracking.
Oh, you put this outfit back on. This outfit was so much better, and then you put the black one. I was like, wait, what happened to this one? Look what it says. It says, blow me. That's what this challenge is gonna be. It's gonna be the blow me challenge.
No,
so.
it's not.
The blowjob challenge.
Ready?
Oh, thumbnail!
Yo, what the fuck?
Travi, who is male presenting here, but she's now transitioned, she was 16 in this clip. And Trisha doesn't seem to have an issue with Shane wearing a blow me t-shirt and mimicking oral sex. But let's carry on.
Anyways, okay, yeah, no blowjobs because we have a little
Baby.
our little baby. This is the.
I just came out of the womb.
This is my son. Meet my son. Okay, first one. Question for you all: do you pee in the shower?
Oh yeah.
Yes, but do they mean when I'm in the shower or when I'm like too lazy to go to the toilet?
I've done that before.
Ew.
I've done it in the sink too.
All the time.
It's fun. Like it's so like why not be in the sink? Like
Okay, not a offensive conversation, but didn't she say that even in platonic circumstances it's a no-go? So they shouldn't be filming with her being 16-year-old anyway, right?
Who do you think gives a better lap dance, Trevor or Shane?
we're gonna have to fight. No, we're not.
Yeah. Oh, look at this suggestion. Let's see it. You know, honestly, I was watching them dance earlier on Shane's channel. They did like a dance off, and like I always thought Shane like moved, but Trevor fucking grinded. So I kind of feel like Trevor might.
I know, I hate to say it, but you know, the young blood.
Oh, hey. Ooh, yeah. Oh my god, I'm like.
What is your underwear? What is
Oh my
that?
god, hot. Ooh.
Trees?
Watch out, Justin Bieber.
What the fuck was that? What was that? That wasn't just her being privy to a conversation or her being in a clip and not speaking up. That was her saying it. That was literally her saying that Travi gave a good lap dance and was grinding and woo, and 16. She was 16. 16. So Trisha's saying, oh, even 17. I said they couldn't even come up to my house. But now you're talking about a 16-year-old grinding all over the place and actually touching their underwear. Lifting up their shirt so you can view their underwear. I mean, you saw the clip. This is why I got so frustrated seeing all these comments on Twitter. Because, okay, people may not know about this, but that's why I wanted to make a video. And I may get backlash for this, because people just want to be on Trisha's side because a horrible thing happened to her. And a horrible thing did happen to her. I'm not saying it didn't. But she still lied in this bloody video. She lies in every video she uploads. She cannot help herself. She cannot do anything but lie. And I just felt duty-bound to make this video. You know, and there's more. Let's keep going.
How much can Trevor fit in his mouth?
What?
I mean...
Did you put your fist in your mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa! Where?
Get the knuckles in. You got... Yeah. Oh, yours is a lot. Let's see you. How much you fit?
His hand out there's
You got more. Oh! The slobber, though. Like, show the slobber. Oh, my gosh. Oh, bitch.
Oh,
you
you
need
gotta really fit it in
practice.
there.
Get it. Shove it.
Yeah, I'll show you later. Get more. I do have that. I do have my lube coming out. I tried to kiss Ricky, but he got all weird about it.
Ricky do it?
Yeah. Do you hear in his room all the time just like, yes, yes,
Slay!
No. It's I just hear lots of like Keeping with the Kardashians on the TV.
I don't really think that sort of conversation is appropriate either, especially if she's taking such a hard line on, being under 18 and exposed to that sort of conversation. As I said, she's not only listening to Shane, she's doing it herself, and even laughed when Shane said, I'll show you later, how to get more in your mouth, and she thought it was hilarious, as you can see from the clip. And why did these people do it? They did it for money. I mean, the collaboration in itself was for money. It was a YouTube collaboration. But did they know it was wrong?
You never invite me over.
Oh, true. You're 16.
It might be a little awkward. What if he's just like, hey, you want to come out and like hang? That's awkward.
That's awkward, just like hang out. We're hanging out right now.
Yeah, but I'm here as like a supervisor.
So you're telling me if we weren't making a video, like you would never want to hang out with me?
No. I would babysit you.
Yes, of course they knew it was wrong. Of course they knew it was wrong. Trisha knew it was wrong at the time she filmed it. So, again, her taking this hard line in this Colleen Ballinger video, or addressing Colleen, or whatever on earth she called it, it just aggravated me, knowing that these clips existed. It absolutely aggravated me. And her saying that she has no tolerance. This wasn't the first time even that Shane had been inappropriate with Trevor Moran.
Well, I hope you guys have fun hanging with us. We have fun hanging with you. Go check out Trevor's channel. We did a video over there where it got, I don't know, even weirder.
Yeah.
And go check out Trisha's channel where she gets weird too.
But that's a given.
Alright, guys, we have fun hanging with you. Wow. Bye. So he texted me and he said, hey Shane, I want to do something really creepy, something really scary. And I was like, lose your virginity? And he was like, not yet. I'm not 18. Well, let's talk to ghosts.
Trisha overlooked this behaviour from Shane because he was her friend. That it's just plain and simple. And she actually even admitted it inadvertently when she cancelled their friendship. So when the Hair by Jay situation happened and it all came out that she had told Shane about Jeffrey, etc., she uploaded a series of TikToks and she said this.
Situation. Let's talk about internet drama. Okay, yeah, Trisha talked to me about the podcast and I'm wanting to take it down. Like, I've told it to Shane 3 times and he glazed over it. The fact that you guys are praising this evil, this monster, and I should have known this was evil. Here's some internet drama for you. When Shane asked me to take down videos that we did with Trevor Moran of him like singing in Shane's apartment or whatever during his whole scandal, I took it down. Why? Because, I don't know, Shane is like a friend and if he says something's uncomfortable, I do take it down. Anything. He's asked me to take down so many videos. You know how many videos I asked Shane to take down on me? 0.
That little statement was in the middle of a long, long list of TikToks that she uploaded, mainly shouting about Jeffrey. But that just stuck out to me. It really just made me double take and think, sorry, what did you just say? So, again, she had no problem with it when she filmed it. She kept it up on her channel until 2021. And had no issue with it. And in 2021, she'd already called out Brandon Calvillo, and I think by that point she had called out Keemstar, or she was just about to, but she had been outspoken about Brandon, certainly. So it wasn't a problem when it was Shane, because Shane was your friend. Shane was your friend, so you overlooked it. It didn't matter. And also, Shane recognised that they were dodgy videos, and was like, oh no, Trisha's got this stuff on her channel, I need her to get rid of it. And he probably remembered it because, as we saw in the clips, he said that Trisha has videos on her channel. So when he did his own mass delete, prior to Trisha's mass delete, he probably thought, oh gosh, there's other stuff. And in his attempt to wipe it from the internet, he had to get Trisha involved as well. So it does make you wonder what other videos he asked her to delete. I mean, if anyone has uploads or knows channels that have re-uploads, I'd be very interested in seeing them. But in this context only, it didn't matter because they were friends. Much like Colleen Ballinger when Adam McIntyre was originally trying to make Trisha acknowledge the fact that she was misbehaving. She saw Colleen as a friend and wasn't going to throw Colleen under the bus and potentially lose a friendship. And I think all of these things are important to hold on to. As soon as she's decided the friendship is over, then she's happy to fully wash her hands. There have also been other examples of her being inappropriate with minors herself. I mean, I already think that what I've shown you with the collaboration with Trevor Moran is adequate to demonstrate that, but here's a couple more examples.
Like, I have a lot of trauma when it comes to my relationships I had when I was underage, and not always sexual. A lot of my trauma comes from school, authorities at school, teachers at school that I trusted. And
did you see that quick panicked look to camera after she made that statement? I actually had to rewatch it about 3 or 4 times just to make sure I wasn't overthinking it. She said, not always sexual, lots of my trauma comes from school and authority figures. And then she gave a panicked look to camera. And she'd specifically said not sexual. Anyway, we'll move on, not for this video.
And I don't, it's a very hard, but like boundary. Like it's one that I don't let up on with anybody. I think it's weird. I talked about it multiple times. I think it's weird. So when all this came out, I was shocked, the group chats and stuff. I was kind of shocked. And it's such a difficult thing because Colleen is someone that I quickly, literally in the past month that we did this podcast, like I really, really like cared about and really like related to.
Yeah, I cannot imagine the humiliation. I think most of us would be absolutely humiliated. The reality of this is Colleen followed Trisha. Obviously, she was aware of all her drama. By her love of gossip, she would have probably followed the Sean stuff and all the stuff that Trisha was doing, the crying on the kitchen floor chronicles, all the rest of it. Probably from Shane. I mean, he already said they got together and gossiped. And during the Swapping Lives with Trisha Paytas collaboration that they did not long after the Sean breakup, Shane actually admits that he was sat upstairs in Trisha's bedroom hearing her crying and screaming to the camera when she did her most famous section of that breakup compilation, which was the "he's blocked me." Shane actually admitted he was sat upstairs. So he probably told Colleen all sorts about Trisha. I think it's fairly obvious that Colleen just wanted to hang out with Trisha to make fun of her. And it wouldn't, as I say, it wouldn't surprise me that if Shane was talking about Trisha to Colleen, she was quite interested in sort of bringing her into the fold, just as someone to make fun of. She is a mean, nasty girl. This whole thing really is just terrible for all the victims. And, as much as I'm being critical of Trisha in this video for lying in this video, as she does all the time, she is a victim of Colleen Ballinger as well, and that's undeniable, really.
I thought, well, she told me she'd get canceled here and there, and she kind of understood when people would come for her for working with me, because I've done stuff in my past that's, not cool by today's standards, and I think everyone can take accountability and grow. Like, I really do think people can change their ways and stuff like that, if you can acknowledge it.
This may surprise you, but I'm actually in agreement with Trisha on this point. And hear me out. She has everyone's attention right now. So her views have been down for a long time since she was... I know there's been arguments, particularly in my comments, about who's really technically cancelled and what really can... I feel like Trisha has been hit the hardest this round. Truly. I think this is the closest to off the internet she would be, with her views being as low as they are. So, at the moment, while everybody is on Twitter feeling sorry for her, which, as I've said earlier in this video, I have mixed feelings about, but the point is she has everybody's attention. She has everybody's attention right now. And she's uploaded another video a few minutes ago, basically just saying, well, this is embarrassing, and going through all the podcast stuff that she ordered and all the rest of it. And that really was a few minutes ago, and the views are already more than what she'd get on a video that would just sit on her channel for weeks. So everybody is looking at her right now. I think the best thing she can do is sit down in her little podcast studio and have a list in front of her of all the main grievances we have against her. And I don't just mean we as in like reaction, commentary, whatever channels. I mean all the things that are repeatedly brought up. The ones that she knows there is an issue with. The contradictions, everything. If she could just get the balls to sit and look at that list and look dead in the camera and say, this is what happened there, this is where I exaggerated, this is where I told the truth, and actually take the accountability that she's talking about in this segment. When I uploaded my video, Trisha Paytas Can't Stand Sex Workers, I was very keen to read the comments, truly. And there are a few things that came up, some that I knew that I'd forgotten about and forgotten to include in the video, which I kicked myself terribly, and then a few that I didn't know. And there seems to be this slow filtering through of the truth that she's doing in the last few months. So in the last few months, she's trying to clear the record, but she's doing it in such small bites that I don't think it's holding much water, and people are just sort of listening to it and going, oh, well, she's still lying. But if she's in that vibe where she's like, actually, I'm ready to come clean, I, for one, would be so eager to hear it and open to hear it as well, because it's the taking accountability that ultimately we want. So let's just have a look at a few things that she trickled out. I appreciate it's a bit of a tangent, but I really do feel like it's relevant. She said this on the Meghan Trainor podcast.
Legendary.
I should take them off Amazon because they're a mess.
No, don't. Let me buy them first.
They're like
and then take them off.
autobiographies, but there definitely was like lies in there. I definitely made stuff
That's
up.
my favorite part. It's like it's
people were catching
so
it because I
good.
wrote this book called The Stripper
People
Diaries.
love a lie.
Yeah, I know. Well, I used to be. I don't lie anymore, but I did used to lie a lot. And I did this book called The Stripper Diaries, and I was an actual stripper. My sister lived with me at the time. I actually did strip. That was the truth. But like I said, I wrote these like diaries during my stripper years, and someone caught me because I said I was like doing it on my iPhone. Like the iPhone wasn't out until 2009, and I was saying it was like 2003, and they were like, I was like, oh.
That's not quite right. It wasn't the iPhone, it was a notebook. Years ago, she uploaded a video of just a stationery haul. And one of the notebooks that she got was quite a distinctive one. And it was zebra print with pink and black stripes as opposed to white and black stripes. And it was very funky and very distinctive. And then a few months later, if not half a year later, I don't know, she uploaded a video saying, oh, I found my old diary and, you know, this is the Stripper Diaries and I think I'm going to publish it, whatever. And even then, several people called her out and said, well, that's nonsense because you've literally just bought that notebook in a haul a few months ago. And she tried to blag it and say, oh no, this company have made this style notebooks for years. I've always favoured this notebook, even though in the haul video she said that she hadn't seen one like that and it was really cool. But my point is that she admitted it. And that's important. She admitted it, which is an awful lot more than she's done in the past. So I feel like she's coming into this era where she actually wants to shed all of the controversy, but she's not really committing to it. The next clip I'm going to show you was when she appeared on the Forbidden Fruits podcast.
I thought you were a professional sugar baby all those years. No, I was just like a hooker on the street. Like literally, I would just like stand on the street for like $5 blowjobs. Like that's all I did. Did you actually? Yeah. I could never get that high-end clientele. I wanted to, but it just never happened for me. I was always envious of the people who have the bougie clients, like the Charlie Sheen. I was like, damn, they're like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about him. I don't know.
She just admitted that she never had famous clients. Again, if you watch my video, Trisha Paytas Can't Stand Sex Workers, I go into detail about some of the stories that she's told over the years regarding her days as an escort. But on this podcast, she has just admitted that she never had high-ticket clients, that she never had clients that were famous or, you know, in a position of power, which is what she has always said. She has always said that those were the clientele that she had. And she just admitted it, that she didn't. So all of the stories that she's told about her clients, you know, that have gone on for years and years, all of them just evaporated in that one statement, just completely nullified. That is a huge statement to make and a huge admission. And it's just buried in this podcast. It's just buried in this podcast. No one's really talking about it. I didn't even know about it. It was someone who left a comment on my video. As I say, Trisha Paytas can't stand sex workers. They left a comment on that video. And I immediately went and listened to it. And I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely mouth open shocked that she just admitted it, nullifying hours and hours of footage of all these stories and these fake scenarios. And no one was talking about it. Purely because it was buried in this podcast. Even me talking about it is buried in this video. It's a difficult one. I think that all of this slow filtering out of reality and the truth, I think the best thing she can do, as I say, is to sit down and just take accountability. I think that would be truly incredible. She's obviously in a position where she's willing to let little bits out but not fully commit. If she just really went for it, I think that would be incredible for her. I really do.
Her video came out and I was just shocked, to say the least, that she didn't at least acknowledge the stuff that her own fans were saying, how they felt, you know, to kind of brush it over in the way she did, and, you know, ultimately became like memes, and now it becomes somewhat lighthearted, even though it's not a lighthearted issue. I was shocked, and she sent me the link to her video, her apology video, and I didn't respond back to it because I was shocked.
I can't get over that. I still can't get over that. She sent you the link to the apology video, that piece of crap that all of us have been talking about for the last week. In shock. There's been some terrible YouTuber apologies that we all talk about, but, you know, I think there's an idea of, yeah, it's just you. I can truly say I don't think anybody was expecting that. I don't think anybody was expecting a YouTuber apology like that. And she must have been so proud of it, to just send the link to Trisha. She must have thought she really did something with it. There's been a lot of chat about, oh, maybe she knew she was being silly and maybe it was a level of trolling. I think Trisha saying she sent the link confirms that Colleen literally turned off the camera and patted herself on the back.
Weeks prior to the apology video, no, we were staying in touch because, again, I know what it feels like to have the whole internet come down on you, even if the whole internet is right. Like, I'm someone, again, who struggles with mental health issues, mental illness, and I know what that can feel like, and I know I don't want anyone, guilty or not, to ever feel like they don't have someone to talk to, that there's not a way out of a situation, that there's not a way to make a situation right.
I've seen some criticism of this, and initially I brushed it off and just thought, well, no, she knows what it's like to be cancelled, and, you know, that human support, you know, that feeling of human empathy, she wanted to reach out to her. But yeah, it is a bit weird, and it took a little while for it to click with me. You know, how can you be so hardline and be so, no, this is how it is, that's how it is, and then still talk to her and say that no matter how bad it is, rightly or wrongly, we can find a way out of it. She's said in this video that anybody who crosses that line is a no-go area, even if it's platonic. So wouldn't that mean she'd want to cut Colleen out as crossing that line? I don't know. Very strange.
So I kind of stayed in touch with her, but when I got involved with this, I got dragged into it rather, it was a few weeks ago, and two boys, both, one I believe was 20 at the time, and one who was 14 at the time, both the 14-year-old alleged, because I didn't speak on this because I didn't see anything.
Sorry, just to cut across her briefly. Also, if you hear any sort of digging noises, I'm very sure that got picked up on the... That's my rabbit, as I've said in a previous video. He lives here too, so he's entitled to shuffle about. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly drop in and say I've seen a bit of criticism about her not wanting to say Adam and Johnny's name. Obviously, Adam McIntyre being the drama channel and Johnny being Johnny Silvestri, who worked for Colleen Ballinger and was a fan and is a victim. And he's been quite outspoken with the other victims that have come forward. He is in fact the one who posted the images on Twitter just to prove that this is what Colleen was doing behind Trisha's back. I don't really have an issue with her not saying their names. I don't think it was a mark of disrespect. I actually think that it was Trisha trying to be respectful. I think she was trying not to speak on somebody else's experience. So by not including their name, she's keeping it very much her experience and her involvement. That's my take on it, so I don't have a problem personally.
And not to say that I don't believe this person, it's just a very, very, very serious allegation. It's very illegal. So I was kind of waiting to see what would kind of come out of anything before I had to make this video and this statement. Literally my accountant, I don't know why she got a text from like a Huffington Post reporter asking for a statement about all this, and I'm like, you know what, let me just put this out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Adam obviously being the 14-year-old, Johnny being, well, she says 20, he was actually 22 at the time. I do understand why she was waiting for proof. It is an illegal thing. I mean, this is illegal. Regardless of it being bullying, we're talking about a woman in her 30s sending pornography to someone who was 14. She's absolutely right. It's a very serious allegation. With regards to the accountant thing, that's so bizarre. Is that normal practice? I suppose they'll just ring whoever. So if they found out that this company dealt with Trisha's accounting, I suppose they'd just ring whoever they could. But that's so bizarre.
And I hate putting any energy into this, but it's very, very serious. It's very serious. And it's a topic I don't take lightly and I can't take lightly, as I am a full-time sex worker. I don't think that's a secret. It's not as advertised as it once was, but
that is a very sneaky way of promoting your OnlyFans. I've got to give it to her. She is an absolute hustler to the very end. That is a very roundabout way. I would not be surprised after the censored porn images were put on Twitter and then her sort of dropping the nugget of information that she is still full-time. Even though she doesn't promote it now, I guarantee you she had an increase in subscribers.
We already have a lot of stigma, misconceptions, allegations against us as sex workers. And so I need to nip this in the bud, that I do not condone at all unsolicited nudes, sending unsolicited nudes to anyone of anybody.
Not true. Goodness sake, she has sent unsolicited nudes to several people in the past, flashed people, all sorts. In fact, I did upload a video called Trisha Paytas Doesn't Need Consent, which goes into a little bit of her flashing history. She even uploaded an OnlyFans where she watched the H3 podcast. I'll leave the rest of that to your imagination. And did a sequel where she watched H3 and Drama Alert at the same time and asked who was going to make her come quicker, Ethan or Keen. There have been several bits and pieces where people have admitted in videos with her that she sent them nudes. As I say, I did that video, Trisha Paytas Doesn't Need Consent, where she talks about flashing. And there has been a history on Twitter, very difficult because I can't actually show you the images, where she's basically uploaded pornographic images of herself and tagged Ethan Klein directly. So this idea that she doesn't condone sending unsolicited nudes is just nonsense. It's just absolute nonsense.
Sex worker or not, I think using someone's nudes as a way to hurt them, make fun of them, make light of them, be mean is the lowest form of human, the lowest form of intelligence. I think that's so inhumane. I think that's so disgusting for anyone.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's absolutely disgusting behaviour. I really do. And as I say, Trisha must feel absolutely awful.
Last night, the text messages were shown, and it's very clearly from Colleen to a fan. Has over 500,000 views on Twitter that I'm not embarrassed by. I'm embarrassed for her. I try to take myself out of these equations when I'm feeling triggered, and if I were to look at it as it happening to someone else, I wouldn't be humiliated for the person in the photos. I'd be humiliated for the person who sent them.
Yeah, so just to clarify, these are the photos that Johnny Silvestri posted on Twitter to prove that Colleen was doing this behind Trisha's back. Adam and Johnny had both said this was going on, and there was a lot of pushback and people didn't believe them. So Trisha's talking about the photographs that were uploaded, and obviously she was then faced with proof. I mean, there it was. I actually think that's a very mature way of handling it, by saying, you know, don't feel sorry for me, feel sorry for Colleen, because she's the person who is that unpleasant or that insecure that she would actually do this. And I think she's right. I think someone who would send other people's pornography just to make fun of them is just upset in their own life. You know, hurt people. So I think that's a very mature way of handling it, and you know, undoubtedly it's difficult for Trisha. She literally turned Twitter on and saw censored images of her pornography and loads of text messages all around it saying awful things about her, teasing her, and, you know, a video that proved that Colleen had a watch party, that they actually put her pornography on the television and sat and watched it. I mean, for goodness sake, why? So it must have been a terrible shock for Trisha.
Although it can be humiliating for the person in the photos as well.
Of course, absolutely.
And it somewhat is embarrassing. I get made fun of all the time for my body, my nudes, even under this person's posts. While I'm thankful he posted them so I could see that this is real, it's hearing all that horrible stuff underneath the photo, like about my body just being messed up or disgusting, and it's a lot. Yes, I'm a sex worker, and yes, I chose this job, and yes, I make money doing it, but it never feels good to have someone just like make fun of your naked body. It's just a really vulnerable thing.
I just want to make something very clear, and it's something that really enraged me among the comments on Twitter. Just because she is a sex worker and she uploads videos of her naked body does not mean that she loves her body. It does not mean that she doesn't feel uncomfortable with her, you know, bits and pieces that she finds uncomfortable. You know, yes, she has said many times, I love my body, I love being naked, I love this, I love that. But there's always this back and forth with her, and it has been that way for years. It's very evident that, yes, she wants to be proud and be positive about her body, but she has self-esteem issues in lots of ways. So I just want to make that very clear, that sex workers or anybody who shows their body for a living or whatever, they are allowed to feel uncomfortable about their body. The two can be true at the same time. And it must have been awful for someone who does have body confidence issues or body hang-ups to not only find out that a person you considered a friend had been doing this for years before they even invited you to their house, but now you've got thousands of Twitter users on several different posts, because it's not just Johnny Silvestri's posts, it's all the retweets and then all the comments on those and then the tagged comments and all of these other people, you know, some being positive and saying how awful it was for Trisha, but there was no shortage of people basically being rude and calling her body disgusting and pointing out this, that and the other. So it's kind of a double whammy. Not only have you been exposed by someone you considered a friend, but now you're being ridiculed by the internet.
It is a little embarrassing, if I'm being honest, but I'm more embarrassed for her that this is the kind of person she is. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Sending these to fans unsolicited, the context of which she was sending these, I don't get the purpose. I don't know if there was an inside joke I'm missing on this. The fan said, hey, congratulations on becoming parents. Which a month later, she just responds with a nude of me and says, you look so pretty in this. And these weren't a long time ago. This is someone well into their 30s, just gave birth sending nudes. And a month prior, I was in her house meeting her child and doing a mukbang, meeting her newborn and doing a mukbang with her. In these texts, there's also friends of hers. They showed the viewing parties that were talked about to make fun of me. They did viewing parties of my adult content to make fun of me. And there's a friend of hers who I actually met as well back in 2018 with his face posing next to explicit images of me. And there was a video of it, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
Disgraceful behaviour. Absolutely disgraceful.
And it wasn't just one occasion. There was multiple times that she sent just different photos and different positions of me. I did ask her about these a couple weeks ago before there was the proof, so to speak, right? And she assured me that she had never sent photos of me, that this one fan who was underage at the time would send photos to her. She's like, no, he was a fan. He sent photos to me and he was obsessed with you.
That is so vile. That is so vile. So even after all this time, she still despises Adam McIntyre for uploading a video. So her wanting to take him down and get him off the internet is still going on to this day by her blaming him for sending Trisha's nudes. Oh no, it wasn't me. It was Adam. He's the one who dug up your nudes. He was obsessed with you and he's the one who did. That is so... She's 36. Like... Whatever. I just want to say that once again, Adam has proven more mature than Colleen in this situation. When he reacted to Trisha's video, he was fairly open about it. He said, was I the person who sent them first? No, Colleen did. It was all Colleen's joke and it was all Colleen's obsession. But then he said, did I also go and find some of Trisha's nudes to try and reciprocate it because I wanted to join in on the joke? And then he said, yeah, I may have done. I don't remember, but I may have done. And I think that's very mature. You know, he's not saying, no, absolutely not, nothing, I never had anything to do with it. But he is pointing out that it was her who ran the joke. But also admitting, you know, that he may have sent some in return, but he can't remember. And I think over and over again, Colleen is just being seen as more immature than a young lad. I mean, I appreciate he's 20 now, but he's still a young lad. That's embarrassing in itself.
And he would just send me it, and once in a while I'd like respond to him and be like, hey, okay. That's what she told me a couple weeks ago. There's a clip of her saying she saw a whale squirt, and she wasn't talking about Trisha Paytas.
Yeah, we did see a squirt. And I'm not talking about Trisha Paytas. I'm talking about a whale.
I sent her that as well. And she said everything's taken out of context. Like, these are lies. And being as I was like her friend and I knew her as a person, I was trusting her, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, you want to believe the person you know, not the people you've never met in your life. Also, you know, I don't think you want to believe that your friend would treat you like that. Unfortunately, obviously, more information came out that Trisha couldn't ignore.
I guess that's why there's that whole innocent until proven guilty thing. So there was two options there for her to say, like, yeah, that was a while ago. I was a hater. I mean, I'm the first to say, like, I've definitely have been a hater in the past. I've been miserable in my own life. I've been going through shit in my own life in the past. And I was miserable and I've hated on people, for sure. Not people that I would go and, like, be at their house and, like, do a whole podcast with. But sure, I can understand people, you know, gossiping or making fun of people. I don't understand the making fun of bodies. That's weird. It's weird. I don't get those texts at all. Like, I look at those and I'm like so confused. Like, okay, I'm the joke. My naked body's the joke, I guess. Okay. I don't know. It's very odd. But I kind of gave her outs because I was like, hey, like, you know, we've talked crap about me. That's fine. We weren't that close back then, I guess. Like, you know, whatever. And she vehemently denied, no, I never sent pictures of you. Like, the underage fan would send me pictures of you, not specifying if they were nude or not.
I think that's very mature, and I think that's actually very kind of Trisha. I believe her when she says that. She seems very genuine in this video. Giving her the opportunity to say, yes, that was in the past and I did do that, but, you know, Trisha's made mistakes as well, and she was willing to move on from it. I think that's very mature and very straightforward. And Colleen still couldn't take the opportunity. She still couldn't take accountability at that point, which is just horrendous. The other thing, though, just to go back earlier, and I appreciate this is a point I've harped on about several times, Trisha was very clear about talking to people underage, even if it was platonic. So yes, she was going to forgive her about the nudes situation, but she hasn't really said how that would have left her feeling, because she knew at that point that there had been a lot more conversation with this underage fan. You know, I mean, which, as I say, she knew at 2020. But by this point, there was a lot of evidence that she'd spoken to multiple underage fans. So, okay, she could have forgiven her for the pornography thing, but was she just then going to overlook all the other underage fans that Colleen was talking to? Would that have just been okay in Trisha's book until they fell out big time?
And my heart started racing. I was triggered. I haven't been triggered in a while, and I was triggered. My heart was racing, my stomach, I was sick to my stomach, and I don't know, I guess seeing stuff like that, that's probably the worst I've seen from someone that I've, like, considered a friend. Like, it's pretty barbaric. It's pretty misogynistic.
Understandably triggered. Understandably. It is misogynistic. And I think, you know, I have to give her kudos that this is her response. You know, she didn't make a response that night. She didn't go on any other social media or on live. She slept on it, took a breath, and, you know, came back and recorded this very calm video, which is just so unlike her. So yeah, I have to give her kudos for that.
And it is downright cruel. It's a low level of a person. To say that stuff. And again, this isn't years ago. This is, you know, someone well into their 30s. It's not a child. It's not a kid. As of now, as of recording this, the text came out, and the minor fan, who is now an adult, has said that those same pictures were sent to him. This is all alleged, as I haven't seen anything, so I don't want to. I just want to put this out ahead of anything. I know there's every day something coming out, and seeing that text from the Huffington Post, I'm like, okay, let me just get ahead of this.
I understand. If Adam finds the text messages and decides to go ahead with it legally, Trisha is literally the image. She's the person in the image. So if he does pursue legal action, Trisha is the subject of the pornography. So I totally understand her wanting to get her statement out quick before this potentially escalates further, and just clarify that she had no idea this was going on, and that she doesn't want to be part of it. As I say, if Adam, pursues it legally, which I think he should, actually, I do think he should, Trisha is going to be the subject. So it's a very difficult position that she's in.
I am so sorry to that person if this is true. I'm so sorry. I know firsthand how traumatizing that can be. I had nothing to do with this. I do not condone it. I think it's the most disgusting thing, and above all else, illegal.
I do wonder what Colleen thinks about this. I wonder if it's really sunken in, the magnitude of what she's done. This isn't just hurting people. She has broken the law. So I do wonder what she thinks about that.
And to the person she sent, who was, I think, 20 at the time, maybe 21. I still think it's disgusting. A grown woman in their 30s doing this to someone who is in their house, been around their family. Like, you have some issues. It's a sickness.
I would like to remind you here that Colleen actually had merch with sort of inspirational quotes for women. That all women are beautiful and all women this, that and the other. That's clearly not how she feels.
This is like, hey, maybe she doesn't get it. What she did was wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe it's like, okay, we need to keep talking about this because this is really wrong. This is really gross.
I wonder if Trisha actually sees the irony in that statement, because that's how we felt for a long time. Maybe Trisha just doesn't understand that what she's done is wrong and that she needs to actually take accountability. She tells us all the time she's taken accountability, but where? How? So I did chuckle when she said this, because I just thought, can you not see that in yourself? That we keep talking about things, that channels keep publishing things because we feel like you don't understand. It's not just haters. Like, do you not understand?
But I think it's more of a reflection of them than it is of you. I hope so, because I'm like, am I this bad person that everyone hates? I try. Maybe at one point I was, and so that's why I'm like, and nobody can get past that. So I'm like, really try to be good, And I don't know. I feel like in the past it always was a little trying to be trolly, trying to be something, that I wasn't. And provocative in some way. Yeah. Right, but now it gets it bites me in the butt, you know what I mean?
I would watch you sell the shit out of vibrators on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I watched you do the unpacking.
That was a good time. Yeah, they dropped me as a sponsor because of the haters too. They dropped me as a sponsor. So
why is so many? I don't get the haters.
I don't know.
So again, I think she should take the opportunity while everyone's watching. And she's broken millions in her last, certainly the video talking about Colleen. I think she's broken 1 million on the video she uploaded after. If not, I fully believe she will. I think she should take the opportunity to take her own advice and take accountability.
I don't know the inside joke. She said they're taken out of context.
There was none.
If there was an inside joke I'm missing on this.
I'll elaborate. To keep it long story short, we were in Toledo, Ohio. It was the 26th of July, I believe, 2018. We had a day off, but since I didn't have room access, I was stuck on the bus. So I got hungry and I went to lunch by myself. I walked to a Taco Bell that was a mile away since I didn't have a car. And I saw that her, Corey, and Eric went to a little hibachi lunch date, and it hurt my feelings, and I acknowledged that. And rather than her just saying, I'm sorry, she started this inside joke where you can see on one of my pictures, it has the date July 26th, which was our off day in Toledo. So it tracks. And she, rather than just saying sorry, she started this inside joke where she complimented me and said I looked good that day. And instead of including a picture of me, she included a picture of Trish, which unraveled and turned into this inside joke where I would receive dozens of nude photos of Trisha Paytas with Colleen implying that it was me, Johnny, in the photos. You can see that in the screenshots, but now you have a little bit better of an idea of how this formulated. The messed up part is I think she already had this inside joke with Adam at the time, and she was just recycling it with me because clearly he thought it was funny, so why wouldn't I? I know, it's stupid. I was 22 at the time of bus tour. I'm not proud of that I partook in these activities. I've apologized to Trish publicly. If I can do it personally, I would love to as well.
I just had to make this video to say I don't stand behind Colleen whatsoever. Her video was not an apology.
I don't think any of us are really sure what it was, actually.
It took away from the severity of her actions of talking to minors, bringing minors on stage at her show. These people are speaking up and they're uncomfortable for a reason. Acknowledge it, change it, do better.
Take your own advice.
But being told she never sent these photos, and these actually do exist, these text messages, I feel like super disrespected, and at least be honest about it to like show some accountability, to show like, yeah, that was stupid, that was immature, or whatever.
I think she's just too narcissistic to admit any wrongdoing.
I'm embarrassed to be associated with her. I'm embarrassed for the fans that she messaged those to. That's should never have happened. And again, this really hurts sex workers as a whole. This is out there and it looks like we're some deviants because this is used in this way. It's disgusting.
This statement I didn't really understand. I might be being stupid, and please do tell me in the comments if I am. I didn't really understand what she means by it hurts sex workers as a whole and makes them look like deviants. The only thing I think of is that if the parents found out that they would judge the sex worker in the image, and that, you know, just the idea that any sex work is somehow negative and disgusting. But I don't know. I don't know why this situation in particular, because if it wasn't her porn, it could have, if she was going to send anyone's porn, it was going to be anyone's porn. You know, I don't know. I wasn't entirely sure what she meant by this. I feel like I'm being stupid. Please educate me in the comments if you have a better insight.
Yes, I'm a sex worker, but a lot of those images and videos were behind a paywall. One that requires someone to be 18 and over.
Absolutely. And that's why it exists. You know, adults are allowed to consume this content, but obviously children need to be protected from it. So it's behind a wall of 18 plus, and it's behind a paywall. So not only has she broken the law by showing underage people these images, she's also broken distribution laws by recording it and publishing it and distributing it to multiple people, and also publicly playing it in front of a room full of people. So it's, it's all round illegal and just immoral, really.
And that's it. That is my statement on it, and I'm not going to speak on this again. I will never speak on Colleen again. She just does not exist to me anymore.
I'm sorry to say something quite cruel, but it will be interesting to see if she can hold to that. Myself and lots of other people are very impressed by her demeanour in this video, and I think it's going to be very telling to see if she does hold to it. In the past, when she said she'll no longer speak about a subject, she always gets triggered, or she'll see something else and then she'll have to create a new video about it or a new 100 TikToks about it. Where her video, I think at the moment, sits at just over 3 million views, which is more views than she's had in a long time. I think it will be interesting to see if she does actually not talk about it.
And this is not me canceling her. She'll always be around. I'm sure she'll be fine. Just publicly disavowing any association I have with her.
And that's it. So far, Trisha stuck to that. She's deleted the Oversharing podcast, and she's going to repurpose that channel. I am interested to see what that will be. I'm pretty sure she'll do another podcast format. Other than that, I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I'm sure I'll upload this and someone in the comments will make a comment and I'll be like, oh, I missed that. I forgot to put that in. Which has been the saying for all the deep dives I've done. Well, no one's perfect. I think now it's just what happens next. You know, I think what's happened is terrible and we've gone through all that. I'm just very interested to see what happens next, particularly with Colleen, more so than Trisha. I think the best thing for Trisha is for her to just wash her hands of Colleen, not engage, don't make any further videos about her. And as I said in this video, to sit down and address everything. I think that's the best thing she can do, truly. I don't know what's going to happen with Colleen. The last I saw, someone uploaded on Twitter the tickets for one of her upcoming shows, that the price has dropped down to $3 just because they want to get bums on seats. So I don't know what's going to happen. I do agree with Trisha that she'll be fine. She's a multi-millionaire. You know, she's not strapped for cash. And I said in my video going over her apology, she could never work another day in her life and still live comfortably with her partner and her children. So she will be fine. But yeah, I wonder if there are going to be legal charges brought against her. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. I think Adam put it quite well, in which she said that they're in a good position, because how could she sue them for defamation when they have the proof? You know, you can't sue someone who hasn't signed an NDA that they've shown personal messages. And if she tries to go for defamation, they're not lying. There is proof of it. So, yeah, I don't know how this will unfold. But I'm very interested to hear what you have to say, and what you think's going to happen and all the rest of it. Let's have a chat in the comments. I really do enjoy that and hearing other people's perspectives. Like and subscribe. If you can, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could give us a subscribe. Yeah, and stick about. Have a look at other videos. And I have a Twitter as well, which I'll put in the description. You know, tweet me if you have video ideas or if you think there's something I should look into. Yeah, just let's all have a chat. All right, be well, guys. Bye.